What's up? I'm Kendra Perry, online business mentor for health and wellness coaches, and I'm also the creator of Health Coach Accelerator. So maybe you've been in business for a few months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe even a couple years, but you just don't feel like you're getting any traction at all. Nothing's happening, you're not making money, and you just feel really uncomfortable with kind of the business and money situation. Kind of like you're wearing a wool sweater without a tank top underneath. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like scratchy and it's like itchy and it's just uncomfortable, right? That's all you can think about. So if that is you, this video is for you because I'm going to show you why you might not be clearing $5K a month consistently in your business, which in my opinion is really the first financial milestone that you should be going for. As always, I am so glad you're here, and just tiny little favor before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to the subscription button so you get notified, because every Thursday I post new videos and tutorials to help you grow your online coaching business. Okay, so first off, I just want to say that you're not alone. If you're having this experience in your new business, you're just not getting traction, you feel like things are not working, maybe you feel like, maybe I should give up, maybe I should go back to my job, you're not alone, okay? So when students come into my signature program, Health Coach Accelerator, this is typically where they are. They feel like they've been giving it an honest shot, they've been trying, they've been showing up, they've been doing all the things they think they need to be doing, but yet they're not getting the success. They're not getting the clients, they're not making the money. And then at this point, they just don't know what is even going to work. They're like, I don't even know what to try anymore because I feel like I've tried so many things. But once they are inside Health Coach Accelerator, they start to learn the reasons why they're not having the success that they want to have, and they usually fast track their success in that program. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 things that you need to take an honest and brutal and maybe painful look at if you haven't yet cleared that 5K per month consistently in your health coaching business. All right, so reason number 1 you haven't yet cleared 5K per month in your business is the messaging. The messaging is off, it's not clear, it's confusing, it's scattered. And this is always where you need to start. Like, actually don't look at anything else, don't consider the rest of the steps that I'm gonna go through in this business if you don't consider this one first, okay? And so the messaging always starts with the niche statement. And I'm kind of a crazy niche person, and I'm always talking about niching, but the reason is that it's so important, okay? And as the coaching industry gets more and more competitive, your messaging has to be really clear. It needs to not confuse people, because if people feel confused, there's so many other places they can go online, so many other things that can take their attention. They're gonna go, and you're not probably gonna get the opportunity to, impress them again, okay? So let's start with the niche, okay? So the niche is typically, it's the segment of the market of which you are targeting. And when I say the market, we're basically talking about everyone who is online on social media, which is a lot of people, right? I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm sure in 2021, it's way more than it was a year ago. A lot of people spending more time online these days. So let's say it's like 4 billion people. So you can't talk to all 4 billion people. That would be impossible. My language isn't gonna resonate with all 4 billion people, right? Because in that 4 billion, we have people who are probably like 12, I guess even younger. Kids are probably coming out of the womb with a smartphone on their hand, right? So, anywhere from super, super young to people who are elderly. And so the way I talk right now, it just really isn't going to resonate with everyone, right? Like someone who is elderly, like I don't have any way to really necessarily connect with them. And same with people who are younger, people who are in high school or even their early 20s, like we just don't have similar values. And depending on what problem I decide to help them with, like I really want to get on the same level of them. Because when it comes to online marketing, it's really just an exercise of mind reading, right? Getting inside this person's brain and understanding their goals, their values, their priorities, what is an increase in status for them, what is a decrease in status for them, what do they want, what do they think their problem is, right? Like it's just this whole mind reading game. We can really only get that from actually speaking with real people. So when it comes to niching, every business needs a niche, and every business that is successful on this planet, whether it's a coaching business or a brick and mortar business, has a niche. There's not really anyone out there who is targeting everyone. Even Walmart has a niche, right? Even Home Depot has a niche. These people, these stores, these businesses, they all have niches, okay? So when it comes down to niching, there are three components of a profitable niche, okay? The person of whom you are helping and of whom you are speaking to and of whom you are driving your message towards. There's the problem that you solve for them. And again, this needs to be a problem that they know or think they have. Because if they don't know they have this problem or they don't think they have this problem, even though they do, you can't sell to them, right? So you need to make sure that they are aware of the problem, even if they think they have something they don't necessarily have. And a good example of this would be something like IBS, right? They've been diagnosed with IBS, and so they're hyper-focused on IBS, but they don't know that IBS is really just a check mark of symptoms, and what their bigger problem is actually parasites or whatever, right? But if you say, hey, I help you clear your parasites, you're not going to capture them because they're like, I have IBS. And what does that have to do with parasites, right? And for us, the educated health coaches, right, the connection is obvious, but we need to take our educational experience out of the messaging, right? Otherwise, they don't get it. It's called techno garble, right? We can't use too much of our expertise from sort of our like front-facing marketing. Otherwise, we lose them, right? So it needs to be a problem that they think or they know they have. Next is the outcome. What do they truly want based on that problem, right? So if the problem is IBS, maybe what they want is to not shit their pants or not have to run out of work meetings to go to the bathroom because they have explosive diarrhea or whatever it is, right? So you really need to hone in on this person and what they want. And where people get stuck the most, or at least health coaches and, just coaches in general, is with the problem. And they try to solve a problem that the person isn't aware that they have or really technically isn't a problem, okay? So an example of this would be, I help women embrace self-care so they can whatever, right? Self-care isn't really a problem, right? If you can envision someone going through their day-to-day life, they're probably not like, oh man, self-care. They're not like losing sleep over it. Maybe they are like, yeah, like I need some self-care. Sure, okay. But like it's not a big problem, right? But so you would want to go deeper than that. So in terms of something like self-care, if we use self-care as an example, what would be the result of never doing self-care, right? And like picture this woman, we'll just use women as an example. So they're never doing self-care. They're prioritizing everyone's needs ahead of themselves, and they're never taking a moment for themselves. So what is that going to lead to? Maybe burnout, maybe exhaustion, right? Overwhelm, like something like that. Like those are actually problems. So you could actually find the problem, which would, in this case, let's just use exhaustion. Like they're exhausted because they never take time for themselves. They are on the go 24/7 and they're prioritizing their kids' needs, their husband needs, their friends' needs, their work's needs, whatever, right? And so self-care isn't the problem. That's part of the solution. It's part of what you will teach them how to do once they invest in your program, but it's not the problem. The problem is the exhaustion. So they probably don't know that they're not solution aware at this point, right? They're just problem aware. They're like, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted. So you need to hit them with the problem that they think or they know they have. So in this example, you could say, I help women suffering from chronic exhaustion get more energy so they can keep up with their kids, have a healthy relationship, and crush it at work. Something like that, right? Because when it comes to the outcome, you really want to think about, well, what is the problem preventing them from having that they truly want? And again, it needs to be connected. So I hope that helps. Now, I've talked a lot about niching on this channel. So if you just go to my channel, you'll see several videos on niching. But if you want to make sure you avoid a lot of the niching mistakes that a lot of coaches make sure to go to my video. It's called My Niche, 5 Mistakes That Every Coach Makes. And I also link to that in the description of this video if you want to check that out afterwards. All right, reason number 2, you are not hitting 5K per month in your business consistently, probably has to do a lot with your online presence. And I'm going to focus this on social media content because this is a big pain point for you. Coaches are really overwhelmed with content in general and what they should actually be posting. But this is a big attraction factor for your business, right? Most people these days, your ideal clients, they're on social media and they're most likely going to find you through social media, which is great. But if once they find you, does it all connect? Okay. So again, this all plays into this whole messaging thing. Like kind of think of everything we do online is the message, right? So if we've figured out our niche, we know it's specific, we know it targets a person, it solves an actual problem that they think or they know they have, and it offers an outcome that they actually desire and want, right? the social media content has to connect with that message or that niche statement, okay? And this is typically what I see. So anytime a new coach follows me on social media, typically I will go check out their account, right? And I'm looking for a few different things, but I'm looking for two very important things, right? The first thing I am looking for is, do they have a clear and concise niche statement? Usually they don't. Most of the time they don't, but if they do, I'm like, great, cool. The next thing I do is I look at their content and I ask myself, is it relevant based on who they are saying they are helping, that the content is actually relevant to that person, okay? So again, there needs to be a strong connection point. So if we're using IBS as an example, you say, I help women resolve IBS so they can, ditch embarrassing bathroom moments and stop shitting their pants. Let's say that's your niche statement. I'm like, great, that's very specific and that's going to speak to the person who has IBS, right? But then I go look at their Instagram feed. Again, I'll just use Instagram as an example. This is true for any social media platform, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever. I go to their content and the content is all over the place. They've got this post about the health benefits of orange juice. And then they're talking about the immune system. And then they're talking about estrogen dominance. And then they're talking about smoothies or something like that. And yes, as a health coach, whatever your expertise in, like, we know this is all connected. We know that eating smoothies is going to be helpful for people with IBS. We know that the immune system is definitely involved. We know that estrogen dominance can cause digestive issues, right? Maybe we think orange juice is like a helpful juice for nutrition for IBS. Yes, we know that, but we have to connect the dots for them. We can't assume they know, and they don't know. That's the thing. They don't know, and it all seems disconnected, and they don't get it, right? Every post I see needs to be relevant to IBS or whatever your niche is. I want you to connect it. So if we use, say, you have a quote image, for example, and there's written caption on the creative, and it's about orange juice, for example, I want to see how orange juice can improve your IBS or something like that. Or is orange juice making your IBS worse, right? Again, it's relevant. And I'm like, oh man, I'm drinking orange juice every day. Is it making it worse? Oh my God, I'm gonna actually go in and click into that post, right? And so with the immune system, like, I wanna know, like, why should I care about my immune system if I have IBS? Don't assume that they have any knowledge, because 9.9 times out of 10, they don't know anything about your topic or their problem. You are the expert, but if you wear your expert hat all the time, you don't connect those dots to them in a really, really obvious way, they don't get it. They don't get it, okay? So do an audit, pause this video, go to your primary social media platform that you're showing up to on. Look first, do I have a clear and concise niche statement? And then second, does the content relate? Okay, do that right now and then come back and tell me if it does in the comments. Does it connect? Yes or no? Because if it doesn't, then this is where you need to start, okay? Because for example, if you go to my Instagram or this YouTube channel, you're gonna see that all my content is helping you build an online coaching business. Pretty much all of it, whether it's mindset, strategy, tools, money, like whatever it is, it's all relevant, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's move on to number 3. Okay, so number 3 is you aren't leveraging social media trends, and instead you're using outdated information that is no longer relevant, okay? Social media is ever changing. You really need to stay up to date with it because it changes all the time, right? And I'm gonna use Instagram as an example here because that's the primary platform that I am on and know the most about, but this is gonna be relevant for, again, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, right? We always want to know what is working right now. So if we use Instagram as an example, what a lot of new coaches are doing is they're focusing all their effort on the feed posts. So those are the static posts that have like an image, maybe a view, maybe a quote, and then the caption, right? So that's kind of what's typically in the grid, okay? And yes, that worked back in the day. Like when Instagram first started, that's what all it was those feed posts. There was nothing else. But right now, at the time of this recording, it is February 2021, feed posts don't get the amount of engagement that they used to get. They actually get the least amount of engagement out of every other post, okay? And so even if you write the most amazing captions, use the best hashtags, and have the most amazing creative, it's still not gonna serve you that well for most people, okay? And so that's sort of outdated information. So you always wanna be leveraging the trend, right? What is hot right now? Because when something is new, so when Instagram brings a new feature to their platform, they don't want it to fail. They want it to do well. So they will reward you for using it. A really good example of this is Instagram Reels, okay? So Reels rolled out maybe about 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, but it's basically Instagram's version of TikTok. So they're competing with TikTok, right? Basically the same thing, okay? And Instagram really wants Reels to take off. And for that reason, they are rewarding you for using them. And right now, at the time of this recording, again, if you're listening to this in like 3 to 6 months, you're gonna wanna check to make sure this is still relevant. But right now, Instagram is rewarding you for doing Reels. And so far, I've been on Instagram since the beginning. I've never seen anything help you get in front of more new people ever before. It didn't happen when IGTV rolled out. It didn't happen when stories rolled out. Didn't happen when Instagram Live rolled out, but it's happening right now with Reels. So if you are trying to grow and get in front of more people, but you're focusing all your time on static Instagram posts that get kind of average engagement at best, that might be a reason you're not growing your social media and getting in front of more people. What's working right now is Reels. So you should literally be focusing all your time on Reels right now. That is personally what I'm doing right now. And I'm only posting one static post to my feed per week. Everything else, for the most part, is Instagram Reels, okay? And so again, this is gonna be different for every platform, but again, Pinterest, I'm just gonna quickly use Pinterest as an example. Pinterest just rolled out stories, right? Brand new. So I'm on Pinterest and I'm actually utilizing Pinterest stories, and it's actually helping me get more impressions, get in front of more people, and get more followers. Again, because Pinterest just rolled it out, they want it to succeed, so they are rewarding you for using stories. So whatever platform you are using, go find some articles and find up-to-date trends. Use YouTube and find what is actually working now in 2021 and review every 3 to 4 months to make sure that your strategy is still relevant. All right, so if this is all making sense to you so far, give me a like on this video, because the truth is, a lot of coaches are using social media platforms without knowing how they actually work, right? They're just kind of like throwing it up there with no strategy. Remember, we always want to leverage the newest trends. Now, that doesn't mean you need to do everything. It doesn't mean, if we're using Instagram as an example, that you do feed posts, Instagram Live, IGTV, like all of the stuff. Just figure out what is working right now, master it, and do it until you can't do it anymore, or until Instagram moves on to the next thing. The number 4 reason why you are not making 5K per month consistently in your coaching business is that your marketing efforts are not consistent. And truly, when you are new in your business and you are not making 5K a month consistently, or not even making 10K a month consistently, you really should only be working on basically one of 2 things with the majority of your time: marketing, sales, marketing, sales, marketing, sales. So in order for your marketing to work, it needs to be incredibly consistent, right? You need to be doing something on a regular schedule in order for things to pay off over time. And consistency is a huge issue with new coaches, mostly because in the beginning, you are not getting the validation, right? You are not getting external validation. You're posting on social media, you're getting low engagement. You're making an Instagram story and you're getting low views, right? You're sending emails out to your list. It's not leading to more clients, right? That's normal, right? Consistency is really important, but you will not get that external validation initially. You will get it more with time, with more consistent action, but it's not gonna happen initially. And that time period where you feel like it's kind of crickets out there and like nothing is happening varies depending on the person, but it could be a few months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year or more. Now, obviously, if you're getting closer to the year or more, you probably have to reevaluate your marketing strategy, but patience and consistency is so important in any new business, and it is the most lacking thing. And when I'm talking about marketing, what I mean by that is showing up online. And so that might be showing up on Instagram. It might be doing regular YouTube videos. It might be showing up regularly on LinkedIn or Pinterest, or writing a regular blog post. It might be doing a podcast episode and being consistent with that. But your marketing, what I want you to think of this as, is basically the bridge between you and your ideal client. So if you're here, your ideal client's here, this is the bridge, okay? It bridges the gap. And so it's how you are getting out there, getting your face in the face of your ideal client and building trust over time. And I'm gonna give you a really interesting piece of information. Trust is the number one factor in whether someone is going to choose to buy from you or not. Trust. Not price point, not quality of the program. Okay, so I believe this was written in a Forbes article, and this was some study that went on, and basically they found that trust was the number one factor. So people were more likely to buy based on trust than they were based on price point, based on it being the best value or based on it being a really high quality program. So trust can only be built with consistency, right? Because if you think of like people in your life, if you have really flaky, inconsistent people in your life, you don't trust them. You cannot build trust that way. So that's why consistency is so key, because consistently showing up and being there for your ideal person, showing up to serve them, showing up to provide them value, to help solve their problems, help inspire them, all of that is what builds trust, right? So that's why marketing is so important, because it builds trust, right? If you consistently, do an Instagram live every Tuesday at 1 p.m., for a year, people are gonna get used to relying on you. They're gonna know that they can hang out with you every Tuesday at 1 p.m. and you are always there for them, right? So very, very important. You really need to be consistent in your marketing efforts, and all you really wanna be focusing on is getting out in front of your ideal client and inviting them onto a sales call so you can sell them. All right, the number 5 reason why you might not be hitting that 5K month consistently in your business is that the program you are offering to your ideal client is not desirable. So I truly believe in 2021, moving forward, the only way to really make money as an online coach is to develop a signature method, okay? You cannot be out there selling one-off health consults or even bunches of health. You're like, you get 6 sessions. That is not going to sell. The coaching industry is only going to get more and more saturated, and that's why your signature method is so important. Now, what a signature method is the combination of things that you do with the client that gets them from A to B, from sick to healthy, or whatever that is, from problem to solution, okay? And it has a unique name that resonates with them. So for example, if we're using IBS as an example, maybe you call it the IBS solution or the IBS fix or whatever, but they need to see it and be like, oh, that's interesting. And it needs to be specifically made for them, right? And maybe within this program, you do energy work, you do gut testing, you deal with hormones, you deal with mindset, you do all these things. That is the method within the container of the IBS fix method. So again, this actually connects to the messaging that we talked about at the beginning of this video. We need the niche statement, which is like the front-facing marketing billboard. Think of a person driving down the highway. They literally have 5 seconds to read it. So they need to know within that 5 seconds that you can help them, right? So that's your niche statement, right? And then you bring them in. So they hit the follow button. They're like, sweet, this is for me. Hit follow. They start consuming your content. Again, the message still needs to be on point and it needs to be relevant. It needs to be 100% connected and related to IBS, and you need to be connecting all the dots, right? You need to be getting inside their head. You need to be talking to them like you truly understand what they are dealing with in regards to their IBS on a day-to-day moment, okay? Day-to-day basis, right? The next thing you need to do is make sure that the solution you are offering them is relevant. So niche statement, sweet, you're for me, follow, content, it's for me, building trust, consistency, right? Leveraging current social media trends to get in front of more people. And then bam, you need to offer them the solution that feels to them like it is exactly for them. You built it exactly for them. And because you've built the trust, they believe that your method is the solution they are looking for to help them reverse their issues, right? Now, if you want more information on how to create a signature method, I've made a video on this. You can just search how to create a signature program for your coaching business, and I'll also link to that in the description below this video. All right, so if you want more good tips like this, make sure to download my free Ultimate Health Biz Starter Kit. You're gonna get a sample health history, a contract, you're gonna get my branding worksheet, my niching worksheet, you're gonna get my Instagram, optimize your Instagram bio cheat sheet. You're gonna get all kinds of things. I've put so many good things into this freebie, so I will link to that below this description if you want to grab it. And if you like this video, if you found it helpful, make sure to let me know by liking it, leaving me a comment, subscribing, or sharing it with someone who you think it will help. Good luck. I believe in you. I know you can get to those 5K months, so put this video into action and make sure to shoot me a direct message on Instagram at Kendra Perry Inc. and say hello, because I love connecting with you. Bye, guys.